In this video we're going to be looking at mounting a device to a wheelchair using mounting systems. So typical mounting systems that you would mount a device to a wheelchair are Readapt, Mountain Mover and Daisy. So the first one we'll look at is the Readapt mounting system. So we'll look at mounting a device onto a manual wheelchair. So the first thing I'm going to consider is to look at the position where I ideally want the mount to go, or the device to go. So that's there shown a typical, let's say, eye gaze device. So it's a bit, maybe 2 feet in front of the user's field of vision. So the first thing to look at around the chair is what might impact the mount, such as the brake levers, the armrests, maybe the footrests, to see what way they swing around and come off. So there's 2 points I can see here on the wheelchair frame that we could mount to. So I'm going to use a circular tube frame clamp from Readapt. So I've just inserted the picture on the left there of this close-up. The clamp comes in a range of sizes from 25mm to 45mm. So you don't have to be bang on, because there are sleeves available to assist with this here. There's even sleeves available for oval shaped kind of tubing, which is typical on some strollers. So I'm tightening the frame clamp on with an Allen key. It's a little bit awkward, as you can see here. I'm doing this, tighten it from underneath the chair, and I can't really get a good view of what I'm tightening. But once it's tightened on, then I got to choose a tube socket. So I'm choosing a tube socket which has a lever on it, and this allows me to have a quick release. So you can see there an insert of the picture of the tube socket, and then how this tube socket attaches to the frame clamp. So next I got to choose the poles to use with the mount. So you can use straight poles, which they come in a range of different lengths, or you can use curved tubes, which come in a range of offsets, 6, 9 and 12 inch. Now I'm using the 9 inch offset. So I've put the index clamp on, and that stops the tube from falling through into the tube socket. And so once it's inserted into the tube socket, it stops at the same level each time. So the next thing to do is to use a pole joint. So the one I have here in the video is a pole joint with a screw. So that's tightened with an Allen key. But I've changed my mind here, and I'm going to look at the other version of this here, which is the pole joint with the lever. And so this can be tightened quite easily with the lever. So this would be typically more easier to use for maybe carers or parents, so they don't have to have an Allen key at hand. They can just use the lever to maybe do some slight positioning changes. So the next thing is to use a universal device socket, which I attach to the horizontal bar. So this has a few adjustments and a release pin as well. So you can see there of the base clamp there, of once the lever is put across there, it stops the tube from coming out, and I can tighten it again, which locks it into position. So next I need the adapter plate. So the adapter plate will hold my Samsung 10-inch tablet, which has a cover on it as well. The adaptive plate has quite a range of devices it could hold. So to release the device, pull back on the pin and the adapter plate removes, and release the lever on the base clamp to remove the poles. So here's a shot from overview showing the distance away the screen is from the user, and a side shot. So an alternative to this, using straight poles, you could see here this might be more suitable for somebody using direct access. There are also various plates, adapter plates available for iPads, or there's an adaptive plate that you can use for more DIY purposes if you are trying to create a cradle for an unusual device which Readapt don't have. Readapt also supply table mounts that can hold various adapter plates. They supply various floor mounts, and they also have a mounting kit. Now this is more probably suited towards a centre who might want to experiment or trial a range of different mounting types. So the next mounting system we'll look at is the mount and mover. So this particular mounting system is kind of designed to allow a user to reposition the mount. So we've done a video here just to give you an overview. So the first thing you might notice here, there is a large tray on top which holds the tablet. Now this actually holds it quite securely in place. There's two clamps there on top which can be repositioned, and it basically clamps the tablet or whatever device you have in. Now there is a smaller tray available. So what I have my hand on now is a release for the arms. So it allows the arms to be kind of moved once it's pushed down. I can also adjust the angle of the device, so that might be good in terms of glare, and you can lock it in position, which I did there with my thumb on that small lever. There's a height adjustment, a bit like the Readapt. There's a lever at the base clamp, and if you pull that back, it kind of releases the tension on the clamp, and the pole can be lifted up or down. So I can change the height there and then tighten the clamp again. Now on the arms there are these notches, and I'm pointing to one there now, which I've pulled down the notch, and this kind of locks it in that position. So there's another option here to remove the tray. Now that can be easily done. Now, although I'm doing this with one hand, it's a little bit hard with one hand to get this back in position, but it's clamping at the front end and then pushing it down until it clicks into place. So next up is the Daisy mounting system. So this system has quite a lot of similarities with the Readapt system, in that it has a base clamp, poles, pole connectors, and adapter plates. So starting at the base, I'll show you the frame clamp. So the frame clamp here, there's a quick release on it. Now it's in the open position here, it's our unlocked. So it allows the pole, the whole mount, to be released and taken away. So here's the side view showing that it won't impact in going through doors. So the tube connector is a 90 degrees fixed tube connector, and the universal adapter plate I've used attaches to various adapters and cradles. So here, this is Daisy's rigid mount, and they also have a swing away version, and this swing away version, when you pull the blue cable there, it actually releases the pin and can swing away. They have alternative frame clamps, so if you don't have a circular tube, you could use one of these. They also do table mounts and floor mounts. RAM mounts is a mainstream mounting system. It is comprised of ball and socket joints. Here is a mount that can hold a tablet onto a circular tube, but we've found that the clamp doesn't hold that tight enough onto the pole and slips. Another disadvantage is that there's no quick release. However, these mounting systems are good for light devices such as mobile phones. In summary of the main mounting systems, Readapt is a modern mounting system. There's lots of component parts. You can basically mount any device onto any wheelchair. Its biggest strength is the option for the virtual mounting system, which makes it easy to decide on the parts for a mount, because the company basically do that for you once you give them details of the chair and take photos where you want the device to be mounted. Mount and Mover is more of an older system. It is a mounting system that can be easily repositioned by the user, which is quite unique. Limited to what wheelchairs you can mount on that, which is unfortunately the problem there. If the wheelchair has circular tubing, that's fine, but if it's square tubing or oval tubing, you're stuck and you can't use the mounting system. Daisy is another older mounting system. It can mount most devices onto most wheelchairs. There are lots of component parts as well. Now, it's a relatively easy mounting system to understand and to mount. So if you have a kit, it's kind of easy enough to mount something. RAM Mounts is a mainstream mounting system, and quite low cost, but unfortunately it's good for phone mounting only, and I wouldn't consider to mount a tablet.